What's the most psychotic thing an in-law has done to you? My sister-in-law sent me a message saying, "This is all your fault," followed by a photo of her son in a hospital bed, unconscious and hooked up to machines. It all started 3 months ago when my sister-in-law Rachel showed up at my apartment unannounced. She had Marcus, my 6-year-old nephew with sickle cell disease, waiting in the car. "I need you to take him for a year," she said while pointing at him. I stared at her in shock. What? I'm burnt out. 6 years of hospital visits, pain crises, medications. I need a break. Your family. Family helps family. Rachel, I have a kid with autism and I'm studying for the bar exam, and I don't know how to manage sickle cell disease. He needs proper medical care. You're saying no to taking care of a sick child? I told her I'd send her 40% of my paycheck each month instead, but she still left with a sour look on her face. And the next morning, the family group chat became a nuclear war zone. Rachel told everyone I'd refused to help my dying nephew because I was too selfish and only cared about money. My mom called me crying about family duty. My dad said if I could abandon a sick child, then I wasn't his daughter. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone had something to say about what a monster I was. The only person who stayed silent was my brother. But when I called him expecting him to be the voice of reason, he just said, "I'm not getting involved. You should have just taken him in," before hanging up and blocking me on everything. And 2 days later, Rachel striked again. She started her real campaign, a Facebook collage post of Marcuse's old hospital photos with a caption about how I'd turned my back on this angel. Luckily, she had a private account and no friends LOL, so only our family saw it, but it was still enough to trigger a CPS visit to my home. 2 officers showed up during my study group. Anonymous tip about child neglect and abuse. My own kid was pulled from class and interviewed. Our home was searched. My study materials were photographed as evidence of an obsessive parent who ignores children. The investigation took 3 weeks. The investigation consumed 3 weeks of bar prep. The only reason I was doing the bar was so me and my son could move out of the ghetto, so the whole time I felt like I was letting him down. I provided the social workers with everything they needed to make a fair assessment, and eventually the case was dropped. But that's when I single-handedly destroyed my own life, because 12 weeks later, I passed the bar exam and made the mistake of posting about it online. I was fast asleep at 2 a.m. when my sister-in-law sent me a text saying, "This is all your fault," which was then followed by a photo of her son comatose in the ICU, completely hooked up to machines. I immediately turned my phone off. The drive to the hospital was around 30 minutes, but I made it in 15. As I pushed past my family to hug Rachel, I expected to see her in tears and panicking, but no. Instead, she was wailing to anyone who'd listen. "This is her fault," she screamed, pointing at me. "She promised to help. I was relying on her." Before I could figure out what was happening, she showed the doctors fake texts where I agreed to manage his medications. When no one was looking, she turned to me and mouthed the words, "Gotcha." That's when I finally understood. My sister-in-law was abusing her son to punish me for saying no. The attending physician ordered a pharmacy history. When the results came back an hour later, the entire room went silent. The truth was worse than anyone had imagined. Full story on channel, link below.